let's talk about what Ray Dalio says when it comes to his principles and to goals. He says, set clear goals. I've never met any successful business person, investor, financial advisor that didn't agree with that. So we're still at the beginning of the year. And I hope that most of you wrote your goals down on New Year's Eve or either on New Year's Day. I'm imploring you, I'm begging you, if you are watching this show and you want some advice that will change your life, write your goals down again today. Write them down today. Keep writing your goals down. That's going to keep you focused on your goals. Here's a big one that we don't like to talk about, Jamie, that most people don't, but Jamie and I talk about it very often. Identify problems and don't tolerate them. Jamie, what is our job description? Each one of us, what's our number one job title here?
Solve problems.
We're problem solvers. So
problem solvers.
Yeah, man, absolutely. So in order to solve a problem, you have to identify it. You can't ignore the problems. So you have to wake up in the morning. Being an optimist is very, very important. But you have to look for problems. If you're not looking for problems, you can't solve them. Now, I didn't say be a problem spotter because there's a big difference. There's a lot of people who see problems and say, oh, man, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, and this is wrong. And all they want to do is complain and bitch about it. That's not what I'm talking about. You identify the problem and you don't tolerate them. That means you solve the problem. So I think, if Ray Dalio, who went from broke to billionaire in about 10 years, then I can listen to that. Diagnose your problems to find the root cause. That makes sense. That's kind of the same thing to me. Design solutions to get around problems. That's all about process. So a lot of this is kind of common sense, but common sense is very often not that common. Okay, I want to see. There was one other thing. Okay, here we go. Embrace reality and relentlessly find the truth. So goals may not be true yet, but they are a future truth. You have to absolutely embrace the reality that's around you. And if things are bad, you can't ignore it. You have to say, hey, man, things are bad right now. And here's what I have to do. I have to find the truth. Here's the problem. Fix the problem so that we can move forward. This is my favorite one. And I'm actually going to talk about two more right here. Ray Dalio, very smart man, smarter than me, says you have to have radical open-mindedness. Now, he said radical open-mindedness. That means that I have to be able to consider that Jamie is right and I am wrong, even though I may have, as a matter of fact, I have 30 years experience in sales and business. That means I'm going to probably know more. I definitely know more things than Jamie, but I have to come to Jamie with an open-mindedness that says, you know what? He may know something that I don't know, so I have to listen. So radical open-mindedness, which leads to disagree thoughtfully. We have discussions. We have discussions this morning, Jamie, and there's a whole crew of people back here behind me, Paul, and we have to be able to disagree thoughtfully and remain open-minded. So, people who draw a line in the sand and say, this is it, and this is the only way it can be, they're probably going to be in for a rude awakening. People who can thoughtfully disagree and listen. Man, you got to be able to listen. Learn from people who may know something you don't know. Be open-minded, listen, disagree thoughtfully. And there's a place for argument. Okay, in our family, my wife, April, she really doesn't like it when the four boys, 3 boys and me, we get into a conversation about anything. There's going to be about 4 different opinions. And it's an argument, but it's not an argument of you're dumb, I'm smart, not usually anyway. But many times we can thoughtfully argue to come up with something that's the truth. Does that make sense, Jamie?
Yes, sir.
We can argue, but it doesn't have to be just because I'm arguing my point doesn't mean that I'm right and you're wrong. It means, hey, man, I really think this is the case, and you're going to have to really show me that you know something that I don't know for me to change my mind. And often it happens. But that's only possible because we do it thoughtfully and open-minded. You can't argue with, I'm right, you're wrong mentality and change anything. You have to make an argument based on some good, solid facts and be willing to move. For instance, Carson, you and I don't hold any coin, but if somebody could make a strong enough argument to me that I needed to purchase some, I would do it. That's being open-minded. You better be smart, though. You got to be Ray Dalio. He may convince me. I wouldn't put all my eggs in the basket, though.